Howdy, this is Kristen Lindholm covering Chapter 5 with Advising for Student Success within our textbook for the course. Things I kind of cover in the book is what is student success. Kind of one of the main points is, according to Q, student success is described with many multitudes such as educational purpose, academic achievement, and attainment for educational objectives, which also lists purposeful activities, satisfaction, and desired knowledge and skills for the students. Things that we need to use within the institution to assist student success is supportive peer groups, academic programs, which actively engage and integrate social interactions for students. Within the textbook, it talks about the needs of advisors to completely well-round their students' success within college, but they also list some of the risk factors associated with the students. Some of those include underpreparedness for academics within a college level course, as well as students who don't attend college right after high school. Some of those students also only attend part-time due to other circumstances within their life. Single parent households where a parent is the only one and the caregiver of the family. Students who are independently financial, which just means they're responsible financially with no one else to assist them on those needs. And another thing which most of us are doing is working over 30 hours a week. And then other kind of diverse generation is first generation college students, who we all know are students who are the first ones within their family to attend college. One of the things I think this particular chapter in the book covers very well is what us as advisors should be like, and the things that we should have in order to successfully meet the needs of our student. And so I took a quote from page 70, which is just referring to advising is thought to be the most effective in the terms of promoting student growth, learning, and success when it is integrated into the academic support services and when it is sensitive to the student developmental needs of diverse students. The reason I thought this is really good because what we've covered so far in our text is in relation to being the resource and key contact for our students, whether it be their diverse population within the university, whether they've never attended or never attended an orientation at the university, and then other things that the book covers for these specific things is primarily to assist the students structurally to become successful in their post-secondary education, whether they are a first-generation student or not. But it's primarily for developing the students within their educational program so that later on they're able to withhold and sustain that as well. This also links into what students think about academic advising, and it leads into some of the statistics with, in some cases where 1 of the 10 of the students don't interact with academic advising, where we per some of the research and Nikata and in SSE, it shows that students who are less interactive are less likely to actually graduate or finish. And then the statistics also show that students who utilize the academic resources are actually more likely to feel satisfied with the quality of academic advising and what the resources were that were readily available to them. Most of the research that's developed is in correspondence to the first year students and seniors, and then that further goes down into gender and then race of ethnicity, which just talks more towards the particular group of students. The book itself also covers deep institutions, which are institutions that develop models and approaches to better fit the student. DEEP itself is defined as documenting effective educational practices, and there is a list within the textbook of some of the participating institutions, which also go into a little bit of detail on what those are specifically and how those correspond to the principles for effective academic advising, which are listed in our review as well. So within the 5 principles of effective academic advising, they cover academic advising is a talent development philosophy, which kind of just covers what an academic advisor is bound by, which is their duty to assist the student and not their wish to assist the student, which some of us may have that wish and passion, but that is not covered in the primary belief of assisting students within their institutions. The textbook also covers what an academic advisor is able to meet with belief for a student, so it's academically, socially, and psychologically. So most often you see, or it is described that advisors with passion are able to better meet the student's need. The second one is advisors are tag team activities. So we as advisors don't just take on that on our own. We actually are able to be a great resource for our students within the university, and we tag team with other departments and groups located within the campus. One important key that was made with the tag team activity of an academic advisor is there's not a cookie cutter approach, which just means you can't do one thing with your first generation students with advising them like you would with your international students. They are 2 different diverse populations, and so you actually would have to develop your structure on assisting that student a little bit differently and somewhat similar. So we would have to learn how to better approach those students at that point in time. The third effective principle of academic advising is students are expected to map out their own path to success. That kind of sounds what it is. They should be able to develop that road with some of those challenges, surprises, and disappointments, but we as academic advisors would assist with teaching the students based on their campus culture, so anything from traditions and rituals to communicating how and why things are done the way that they are done, which is important to note, especially with your first generation students and your international students. So communication is a little bit of the key for those because you communicate differently with them. The fourth point within the textbook for effective principles for academic advising is every advising contact is a precious opportunity for meaningful interaction. And that's just our advising sessions are meaningful and valuable to students that we are assisting, so we need to make sure that we're being a greater resource with those particular groups of students in order to help themselves overall. And then the last principle is recognizing that advising is a cultural and culture-bound activity. So some of the questions that we can utilize for the institution to better organize for fostering student success are listed within the textbook. I did not list them here, but a lot of them are some good questions that maybe we can look at to see how our institutions are doing on that, and then what our institutions might need to improve on, or us as advisors need to improve on within our particular field. So in conclusion of Advising for Student Success, we find that academic advisors are essential to promoting development within our students as well as success through assisting with students within available resources at their particular institution within that first year. If a student has 2 or more of those risk factors that are listed previously, the textbook states that there's a higher chance for those students to drop out of college. So that is why it's important to use those 5 principles within academic advising to effectively assist those particular groups of students. And academic advisors need to be quite knowledgeable about the persistent graduation statistics and the resources available to all types of their students, all diverse populations within their students, and knowing what those resources are and being able to connect them with those resources, whether it be a phone number, an email, or walking them directly over to that office. And in correspondence to knowing those graduation statistics, according to TITO, we as advisors are that positive effect for students' graduation and retention rates, especially in those students that are unsure of what their primary goal within education is. So we call those our undecided students. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful week.